For today's mobility session, you're going to need a foam roller. That's just for the first couple of minutes of this, so if you happen to not have one, try using maybe a basketball or just skipping the first bit. You're also going to need a set of mini bands. I recommend having a light, a medium, and a heavy. And you're going to need a couple of dumbbells or weights. If you don't have those, just fill up a water bottle or two. There's just one exercise that needs 2 equal-sized weights. So have a couple of water bottles if you don't already have dumbbells or kettlebells. Weight-wise, I've got some 5 kgs here. A couple of the moves, I might want something a little bit lighter. So that is 11 pounds each. If you think you're stronger or a little weaker than I am, then adjust the weights accordingly. Let's start off with the foam roller. So we're going to come down to the mat, sitting on the foam roller. And we're going to work our way over to the side of our hip until we find a bit that is a little bit tender or tight. And then let's just hold it right here. We're going to hold it for about 20 seconds until it releases. Good, once you feel that release, just give it a little wiggle back and forth and see if you can find a second spot on this side. Whew. Hold it there for 10 to 20 seconds. And give a little wiggle. Let's switch to the other hip. Shifting our knees to the side here, finding a little bit of a tender spot. And just hold and breathe right there. Once it releases, give a little wiggle, and let's find one more spot. Hold and breathe. And give a little rock back and forth. Good, come on down onto the mat, sitting on the mat with your foam roller behind you. You're gonna roll it up until just at the base of your shoulder blades. Let's lie down, elbows out to the side, hands behind your head for support. And we're just gonna open up and kind of roll our back over that foam roller and then come back up to neutral or a slight curl. Open back up and come up. One more time. And come back up. Right here in this position, you're just gonna scoot about, so the foam roller is about 1 inch higher, and let's toggle side to side. We want that foam roller between our shoulder blades. That should feel real nice. And let's sit back up, nice and tall. We're gonna bring the foam roller under our lower leg now. So you're gonna drop it right under your ankle. And let's just give a gentle roll forward and backward here. Just kind of feeling out where it's tight. Now if you wanna give a little more pressure, you're gonna lift up your hip and dig that leg into the foam roller. And if you want even more pressure, if you're not super sore, you can put that opposite leg up on top to add some pressure. And we're just rolling from below the calf muscle down to the ankle or wherever it feels tight in that lower leg, around the Achilles and just above. Good, switch sides. So we're gonna start the same way, just rocking that foam roller back and forth. Feeling out where it's tight. Now let's add a little pressure by lifting our hips. And add even more by stacking that leg if you wish, otherwise just stay where you were. This can be pretty intense if you're sore. Good, sit those hips back down. And right here where we are, we're gonna roll the foam roller down right onto our Achilles tendon, and let's just drop those toes side to side like a windshield wiper. If you want more pressure, same thing, lift up those hips, dig that heel into the foam roller. sides. We'll do that little ankle toggle, side to side, lifting hips and digging that heel in if you like a little more pressure. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we're gonna get a little bit friendly with our foam roller. So we're gonna actually work on our inner, it's like our piriformis, or the front of our hips here, our hip flexors. So we're gonna find the spot that's directly between your pubic bone and your hip bone. They're sort of right in the middle there. And you're gonna dig the edge of your foam roller. You're gonna line it up right there, and then come lie down on the mat so that that foam roller is right in that spot. Good, adjust if you need to until you find the right spot. It should be a little bit sore. And we're just holding here, breathing and releasing. If you tend to sit a lot during the day, whether that's sitting at a computer, sitting because you're driving a lot, or even sitting on your bicycle, this specific release is really helpful. Sometimes you'll notice you've got pain in your lower back and your hamstrings, and you think, oh, my hamstrings are tight, I'm gonna stretch those. Oftentimes you just need to release your hips like this. Good, give that a little rock back and forth. And let's switch sides. So you're gonna press back up, switch that foam roller to the other side. Once again, finding that soft tissue between your pubic bone and your hip bone. And lie right down on that spot. And just breathe through this. Good, just holding here and breathing. You can work on your hip tightness for a good 3 to 5 minutes a couple of times a day if you really find that you're sitting a lot. Let's give that a rock back and forth. And next up, we're gonna stay lying face down with our foam roller underneath us. This time we're gonna bend one knee and we're gonna try to roll the inside of our groin. This is also chronically tight in triathletes. So we're gonna put that foam roller down, lie down on one side, and put it down near your knee. And you're gonna just roll all the way over until you get to your groin. If you need to adjust the foam roller, go for it. Well, that is really uncomfortable. And again, you can adjust the pressure. You can decide how much body weight you're putting into your foam roller by loading up a lot. Good, now let's do some quick little rocks here. Three, 2, 1. Switch sides, same idea. You're gonna come lying down onto your side. You're gonna put that foam roller kind of halfway between knee and inner thigh. Lie down, and we're just gonna work our way over to our groin. Let's do some nice big motions here. Rolling almost all the way down to your knee and all the way up to your inner groin. Your upper groin, I should say. And the last one, we're gonna do a set of quick pulses back and forth. So little rocks, go. 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right, foam roller is now just a prop and it's not necessary. So if you've been waiting and watching to start, you can just hold your hands steady. You don't really need the foam roller. We're gonna start in a kneeling position here with some regular hip presses. So still opening up our hips. We've got about a 90-degree angle with our hips and with our knees on both legs. Well, 90-degree on the dropped. So we've got 90-degree angle on this front hip and knee and a 90-degree angle on our back leg. You can choose whether you have your toes lying flat on the mat or whether you have them curled up underneath holding the foam roller out front. We're simply pressing into that hip and at the same time raising our arms overhead with or without a foam roller. Good, let's do 8 more. 7, 6, reaching through those lats. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Same exact thing on the other side, opposite knee down. Switch that front leg. Still staying in line here. I'm just gonna angle myself toward the screen so you guys can see. Arms out front. We're gonna press forward and raise those arms up overhead. And we've got 10 of these all together. So 8 more. 7, 6. Make sure you're not bringing your shoulders up to your ears. 4, 3, 2, 1. So what I mean by that comment is, of course, your arms are raising up, but I don't want you shrugging your shoulders up and turning on these upper traps. I want you to keep your really nice shoulder posture the whole time, okay? You guys can move the foam roller. Actually, we're gonna use it for one more thing. Hang on to that for just a second longer, okay? Switch back to that first leg up, but now instead of putting it forward on the mat, you're gonna bring it to the side to about 2 o'clock. And we are going to hold that foam roller in front, or just your hands. And as we press, we're gonna twist to the side with our upper body, getting a little spine twist in. And you should feel this hip press in a different spot than the first one. You should feel it in that upper thigh, inner thigh, upper groin area. Let's do 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides, same exact thing. Bring that knee out to 2 o'clock. Foam roller or hands come straight forward, and we're gonna twist in opposition as we open up that top leg. Making sure that this knee here is staying right over your foot. It's not dropping inward. Let's do 5 more. Last 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now you can actually get rid of that foam roller. We won't need it for the whole rest of the session. Next up, we don't need any equipment. We're gonna stand up and do some nice big arm circles. Just big sweeps where we're reaching all the way up and coming back. Nice big backwards arm circles. We'll just do 3 more of these, just a few. 2, and 1. Switch it forward, big sweeps. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Next up, we're going to do a runner's lunge and twist. And I want you to think, we're spending a lot of time here today opening up our hips and opening up our thoracic spine, or that upper part from our, basically the piece that goes along our shoulder blades, in between our shoulder blades. So we're going to start by putting both hands on the mat. We're going to step one leg way back, and the front leg, that same hand, is going to rotate. So you're rotating your belly button into that thigh that's forward, and then come on back down. Now I want you to step your front leg back and switch to the other side. Big deep lunge and twisting and rotating, looking up at the ceiling. Hand comes back down, switch it back. Switch sides and twist. Hands come down, knees back, bring it forward and twist. Good, let's do 6 more on each side. Lunge and twist. Hand down, switch sides, lunge and twist. 5 more. Step it back, lunge and twist. hands down, switch sides, twist. 4 more, hands down, switch, lunge and twist. Hands down, switch it up. Hands down. And last 2 on each side. Hands down. Switch it up. You might feel your core firing for this. That's on purpose. Good, keep those hips nice and low the whole time, even when you're doing these changes. Last one. Good, from here I want you to come back into a plank. And then let's bring those hips up into downward facing dog. We're gonna drop our heels. Head comes between your shoulders. And release back to plank. Now this time we're gonna bring our hips up a little bit and we're gonna put one ankle over that opposite one. Or rotate so you can see. And we're just gonna do 5 big range heel raises or calf raises. 3, 2, 1. Everybody feeling this in your shoulders? That's all right. Switch sides. 5 nice big raises here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Drop those knees down. Give yourself a little shake. We're going to do 20 super loose hops. These look and feel ridiculous, but they make your body feel really nice. They're great to get ready. If you're about to go out for a run right now, this would be a perfect time to stop the video. Go for your run after these loose hops. And we just do 20 or 30 of them, so we feel some warmth in those lower legs. And relaxation in your shoulders. That's enough of those. Now, we're gonna grab mini bands. You've gotta decide which strength is appropriate for you. So I'm gonna give some recommendations based on mine. I'm gonna start with a medium. I would say medium or light. For this next move, it's just called a runner's march. And we're gonna step on top of the band with one foot, and then step the other foot in there. But notice that I'm standing on top of the band on both sides, and the band's running over my foot. Each foot. Good, we're gonna do a nice little march right here, where we're just holding a lot of stability. We're gonna stay on one side for 15. We've got 13 more. 12. Arms are optional. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, keeping that weight on your one leg, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides, exactly the same position with that band. Bring it up for 15, 14, I'm going to turn toward you here, 13, 12, 11, 10, just tap that leg down, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. We are just going to barely move that band up toward our ankles. You can use the same band, or you may want to switch to a slightly lighter one. Let's try it out. Figure out together if that's the right one. Okay? We are really going to work these hips, so you should kind of feel some fire in that glute, those glute meats. Okay? We're going to also now shift our weight over to one side, and we're going to draw some semicircles on the floor. Move all the way to one side of your mat here. Dragging that toe around in a nice big semicircle with all the weight and all the balance on the opposite leg. sure your foot's near the edge of your mat so you've got space. We're going to work that toe all the way up to the front and sweep it all the way around to the back. Return. 7 more. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good. We're going to take that band off of our ankles now. We use it for one more move. Okay. Again, this one you might want the lighter band. I'm not even sure if I might. So let's try it. So now we're going to balance once again on one leg. Other foot can just come up and kind of rest on your calf. You're going to hold the band with your thumb on one hand and with your hand on the other. Nice and tight fists. While balancing, you're going to bring this shoulder, this elbow, up and around to the back. And we're going to do 10 of those. That's 2. 3. Some of you might have trouble balancing, like you see me sometimes tap that toe back down. I have a healing sprained ankle on that foot, which means it's great to do single leg work, but it's also really challenging to balance because some of those nerves have been damaged. Last 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides, exactly the same thing on the other side. Make sure you've got a firm grip on your mini band. Balancing with one foot on that inner part of your calf and pulling back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, you can set your mini bands aside for the moment. We don't need any equipment for these next couple of moves. We're going to start working on our hips again in a different way. So we're going to take just a half step forward and we're going to load up on that front leg with back leg just in a kickstand position or a split stance, but that back leg is unloaded. Okay, and right here we're going to open up our hips out to the side and then we're going to close them back in. Open up and close. Good. If you're not feeling very much happening with that standing legs hip, I'm going to give you a variation that's going to make this a heck of a lot harder. We're going to do about 15 in total. So you got about 10 with this harder variation. This one's called a tippy twist. So you're going to tip forward like a teeter-totter. Back leg stretches out. You're going to open up that hip, close it again, and teeter back forward. Let's do 9 more of those. Or you're staying in that kickstand position. And your challenge is, can you do this without dropping that foot all the way down? Can you just balance with your standing leg? We've got 5 more. 4 more. Tip and twist. 3 more. Whoa. It is harder than it looks, right? Last 2. Good, and 1 more. Stand up nice and straight. Ooh, shake out that lower leg. Mine's on fire. Okay, exact same thing on the other side. We're going to start in that kickstand position with our weight on our front leg, hands on hips. You're going to roll into that top leg, and then you're going to open up out of it. And we're going to do 5 of these kickstand hip twists. 3 more. 2. And 1. Now, for a challenge, you may go into the full tippy twist. That means hinging at the hips, back leg comes up, open up, close it, Stand up, trying not to touch down that leg. Tip, twist, close it, stand up. Keep it going. Whoops. Stand it up. 7 more. Don't rush these. We've got to find balance in each of these positions. 5 to go. 4 more. Last 3. Keep that front knee soft. If you're really struggling and you want to make it happen, keep that front knee soft. 1 more. Oh, my shins are on fire. And relax. Shake it out. Nice work. Good. Now we're going to get some bigger muscles involved here. We're going to get some of our big movers that we like to use. You have an option of holding a weight for this one. I'll show you both variations. So you can just hold a single dumbbell or kettlebell or med ball. And you have the option, if you can do this with great posture, of tapping the mat with wide knees and pressing up, okay? So you're either using a weight, or I'll show you without, just frog squat, reaching up. Good, we're gonna do 15 of these. 15, 14, 13, 12. If you're not using a weight, go ahead and pick it up, see what you can do. 7 more. 6, 5. No rounding that shoulder, those shoulders. Last 3, 2, and 1. If you used a weight, move it out to the side. You're going to need a nice clear mat here. We're going to do some speed skaters. So I've got some options for you. You're going to either just lunge to one side and keep your feet planted, like this. Make it a little harder by keeping your butt low the whole time. And if you want to make it plyometric, you're going to kick that leg back and then jump to the other side and stay low the whole time. So I'm going to do 20 plyometric ones. You just keep going with whichever version you want to do. Last 3, 2, 1. Whew, feeling fiery. Good. Now, a little bit of balance coming back into these side motions. So we're gonna still do, this time instead of the speed skater, we're actually gonna make it a side lunge. So we're gonna dip to one side, bend that leg, then come back up and balance. Just in case your lower legs aren't tired enough yet. Good, just 10 on each side. Four more. 3. Whoa. 2. And 1. Good, release, walk your way to the other side of the mat. Same exact thing. You're gonna step and bend that knee. Then you're gonna try to get this spring really good so that you can come up into that runner's march. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, last 2, 9, 10. Shake it out. Let's add a weight. We're going to do one more burner for these legs before we switch it up. Okay, I think this weight is too heavy for me. We're going to do an overhead hold and then bring it down. I think that's a little heavy. I'm going to drop down. This is a 3 kg or 6-ish pounds. Okay, this time we're going to add some rotation into that lunge. So it's not a side lunge, it's not a backward lunge. We actually call it a transverse lunge. So let's just show the lunge first. You're going to step back and twist into that lunge and then come back up to both feet together, okay? With the weight, you're going to start with it over your head. And as you lunge, you're going to twist with that spine with really nice posture and touch the inside of that ankle before you bring it back up to come to standing. You are welcome to add a balance. I've not been able to figure out how to do that yet without falling over, so let's do 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch, walk your way over to the other side of the mat. Switch hands. As a reminder, you're starting facing the opposite way almost completely. And as you come back, you're going to twist so that you end up sideways on your mat. With the weight, you're going to tap the inside of your foot before you come back up to standing. Let's do 9 more. 8, 7, 6, 5. Staying strong through our spine. What were we on? 6? Oh, 5, 4. That's it. 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Did I say we were finished with legs? Because I totally lied. We have 2 more pretty tiring leg moves with weights. So first one's going to be an overhead hold. We're going to come into a split sort of lunge position, but we're not going to move our feet. Press those hands straight up to the sky. Back knee comes and just taps down to the mat as you hold this weight overhead. Bicep to ear. If that's too much of a motion, do a little one here, that's fine. Let's do 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Do you guys hear my furnace going off and on? It's so loud. Well, this is where the gym is, in the garage next to the furnace. Good, find that other side. Other arm presses up to the sky, bicep to ear, drop that back knee. So just turn so you can see a nice side view, watching that form. Body's coming straight up and down, posture's nice and tall. Shoulder blades are in those back pockets, not shrugging up to your ears. We've got 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and let's do 1 extra, just to make sure we got it. Good. Lastly, we're going to do, let's go back to the heavy weights. If you're good for, I want something that's tough for a bicep curl. And we're also just going to finish up these poor legs. Okay, so I've got my 5 kgs, which are 11 pounds each. That's pretty good for a bicep curl. You may want to get rid of your mat for this one because it can trip you up a little bit. We're going to do a curtsy lunge with a bicep curl. So holding those biceps, palms face forward, shoulders are back, posture's tall. You're going to take a step back and behind the opposite leg. And as you come down for your lunge, you're going to curl those biceps. You can choose whether to tap that knee down or whether to hover. It's a lot harder to hover. Good, we've got 8 on each side, so that's 2 down. 6 to go. 6, 5. 4. 3. Last 2. And last one on each side. Good, set those weights aside. We're going to go back to our mini band now. And just looking at what we have. Again, you're probably going to want your medium to your light band. Let's try medium. We can always make it easier. Oops, medium. Always make it easier if we need to. All right, let's see. We're going to start by standing. You're going to put the mini band around your ankles. Step into it. Good. Now I'm going to encourage you to find a stable surface. I've got my bike on the trainer over here, or just a wall works fine. Couch, whatever's nearby. Make sure you've got a flat spot on the floor. And what you're doing is you're going to kick back and out at the same time. So it's not straight back, it's not just a butt squeeze, and it's not a side move. It's a little bit in between. It's at a diagonal. Now, instead of just pressing like this, we're actually going to kick. Good. And try to resist on the way back in. Let's do 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, resist, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Band stays in the same place, and we are just finding a nice wall to kick back into the side, okay? Just practicing that motion and then practicing a kick or 2. Let's do 15 more. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Good, coming on down to the mat here. I'm going to angle mine so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to do some hamstring walkouts. So these are pretty intense for your hamstrings. They also take a long time, so let's just do 5 of them. How about feeling nice today? Good. Rolling back down. We're going to start off by bringing our rib cage down and tucking our hips under. So we're trying to kind of close up this space from hip bones to ribs. We're going to make a really unflattering face by tucking our chin back into our neck, and we're going to hold this same distance as we come up to a hip bridge. Now we're going to find the heels of our feet, and we're going to little by little walk out until we're right near full extension, near the end of our mat. Hips are still hovered. I don't know if you can see that. And we hold for just a breath or 2, then drop back down. With our hips down, we're going to walk our legs back in. Same thing, hold that nice posture with your hips and ribs. Walk out on your heels. Chin is tucked. Hold it. 2, 1, drop down. Good, walk those feet back near your butt. Lift it up, walk it out. Okay, now one thing I want you to pay attention to is as you're walking, hold it here, 2, 1, drop it. As you're walking your heels out, are you keeping your hips relatively steady? Could you balance something on your hips or would it fall right off? Let's try to keep steady there. Drop it down. Last one, we're gonna walk our feet in, lift it up, walk it out little by little. With that strong middle. 3, 2, 1, drop it. Great work. Let's see, next up we've got a side plank with a pull. So I am definitely switching to my light band here, putting the medium band aside. Okay, and we're gonna hold that band with a really strong thumb and the other side. It's kind of like those archer pulls we did earlier, but we're doing something similar while we are in a side plank. You have the option of stacking both feet on top of the other. That's what I'm gonna do. That's the hardest version. Or if you need a little more stability, you can put one foot in front and one foot behind. Both of them are laying flat on your mat. And the last option is to drop your knees. So I'm gonna show you those real quick. Feet stacked on top. Everything's in a nice straight line. Hips are pushed forward. As we lift up, you're simply gonna pull back that band. Now, if that's too hard, try it first, stacking your feet one in front of the other. And if that's still too hard, you're gonna drop down that top leg right here. So we've got 5 more pulls. Whoop. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop it down, switch sides. Maybe you can see my feet better on this side. Good, make sure you've got a nice strong grip of your band in both hands. You do not want to let this go partway through. Okay, feet stacked on top of the other. Lift up those hips. Everything's in a nice straight line. And we are pulling back. Good, shoulder blades come together up at the top there. If you need to, you're gonna stack those feet one in front of the other or drop that lower leg. Let's do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. Good, now I have heard from a couple of people that that side plank is absolutely too hard. They can't even hold it for 3 seconds. That's perfectly fine. Doesn't mean you should skip it. It means you should do hip drops on the wall instead. So I'm just gonna show you a couple of those before we wrap up with our last few moves, okay? A hip drop, I'm just gonna lean against these bands, which I don't recommend. Just means you lean with one shoulder into the wall, walk your feet out so you're in a nice straight line, and you drop your hip toward the wall and then push it up to the ceiling, okay? You can do like 20 or 30 of those. Do those until fatigue, and that's gonna help you build up some of that strength for side planks. Okay, make sure you do both sides. All right, next up, this is our last move with the band. We're gonna hold a V-sit, or a V-sit hold. We're gonna wrap that band around the bottom of one foot, and in the same hand, we're gonna hold it. The other foot is just gonna stay right where it is, and the other hand can go wherever it needs to for balance. And all we're doing is holding this V-sit position, balancing just on our bum, and doing that similar kind of archer pull, that one arm row, where we're pulling back with our elbow in toward our side. Let's do 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Switch sides. Other foot. Let's get into this position quickly. I'm just going to show you where your V-sit should be. Both legs up. Other hand can do whatever it wants to help you balance. I just like mine out to the side. Good. Skimming that elbow right by your side. 10 more. 9, Good, release that. Get rid of the bands, we don't need them again today. Okay, we've got a couple of body weight only exercises to finish us up. We're gonna start with an inchworm. Standing at the edge of your mat, you're gonna fold forward and wait until you have to bend those knees. Just gonna bend them a little bit to get your hands down onto the mat, trying to keep your hips as high as possible. We're gonna start walking those hands forward and putting our weight onto our hands, but not letting our hips rock side to side. We're gonna go all the way until this nice plank position. You have the option of dropping down for a push-up or doing one up on your toes before you pike back up and walk it in without locking your hips. Good. We're gonna do 5 more of those because those also take a lot of time. So dive down, stretching those hamstrings, keeping those hips nice and steady. Option for a push-up, pike back up. Good, I want you to imagine you have 2 really skinny walls right next to you so you can't wobble side to side. Dive it back down. Walk it out. Keep narrow. Good, push up if you wish. Pike, walk it back. I can't remember if we have 2 or 3 more. Let's do 3 just in case. Push up. Pike. Walk it back. Standing up. Last 2. Option for your push-up. Last one. Walking it out. Nice straight push-up or knees. And walk it back up to standing. Good. Okay. Our biggest and final challenge is going to be one of my very favorite ab exercises. My favorite's probably the dead bug, but this is my second favorite. Or maybe I'd switch them. This is called the bear crawl. We're going to start at the end of our mat in a quadruped position. And we're going to hover our knees up off the mat. And then opposite hand and opposite foot are going to step forward while we keep that upper back nice and level. We're going to go all the way up to the front of our mat, and then we're going to work our way backwards. Good, so we're going to do a couple of reps of those. Let me just show an alternate for anyone who doesn't like putting all that weight on your wrists, because we've already done a lot of stuff on our hands, and that is the dead bug. So for you, you're going to lie down on the mat. You're going to float those knees and hips to 90 degrees. Arms straight up to the ceiling. Lower back is either touching the mat or pretty close to it. And you're going to extend out the opposite arm, opposite leg, and bring it back in. Good. Making sure that that distance between your hips and your ribs is not changing, so don't let your ribs pop up. And if you can't do that, then you just hold it right here. Okay, for the rest of you, let's do some bear crawl. Okay, we're gonna go up and back on the mat. Let's do 3 times, and then we're gonna switch around to sideways, okay? Let's hover for the whole 3 times up and back. Ready? Quadruped, lift those knees. Good, if you're dead bugging, you're doing this right at the same time. Walking forward. Taking our time. Keeping it stable and steady. Walking back. All the way off the end of your mat. Good, walking forward. Walking back. Off the end of that mat, walking forward. That's it. Walking backwards. 3, 2, and 1. Drop those knees down. Hug your knees into your chest if you're doing a dead bug. And now if you're bear crawling, we're turning it to the side. And we're going to walk sideways. This time you'll notice instead of opposite hand and opposite arm moving, you're gonna have, your feet are gonna go apart at the same time your hands are coming together. Let me show you. Lifting up those knees, and as your hands come together, your feet go apart. Okay? Good. We're gonna go up and back on our mat 3 times again. If you're doing dead bug, ready to go again, same move. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Hover those knees. Hands come together, knees, legs go apart. Upper back and lower back are nice and steady. Not a lot of rocking and wobbling. Good, 2 more times. Hips stay tucked under. Back and spine stay neutral. Last time. And drop the knees down. You guys are finished. That was awesome. 52 minutes worth.